What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Appreciate you guys tuning in for another video. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future videos. Okay, we are diving into the juice from Kentucky Lake. If you guys have been following the channel, we did a little pre-tournament talk. I think Kentucky Lake is back. I think this tournament proved that the fishery is coming back full swing, and there is a lot of bass to be caught. You know, we didn't really see this one coming, but overall, man, they caught them really good. I did not have the best event, so I finished up 38th place, I believe, out of 66 anglers. But this is the juice video. We're going to dive in, talk all about the patterns, the rods, reels, lines, all the tackle, all the juice from this tournament. And if you guys are new to the juice series, the juice is presented by Fish USA. So Fish USA is a huge online tackle retailer. They have everything you need for fishing. So if you guys are looking for any of the tackle we're about to talk about, head on over to Fish USA and check out all of that. But if you guys are ready, let's jump in and let's walk you through what went down here on Kentucky Lake. Okay, so well, first off, before we get started, hopefully you guys can hear me without too much background noise. The rain is coming down a little bit out here, and in this garage, it gets pretty noisy when it rains. So hopefully the rain doesn't pick up too much before we get through with this. But really, rain was the theme of the week. The first couple of days of the tournament, boy, we had some crazy weather come in, pouring down rain, and it really just kind of had the fish kind of mixed up, kind of stirred up a little bit. I never really like targeting those ledge fish when it's storming, but I'm getting way ahead of myself here. So let's set the scene. It's the first week of June on the Tennessee River. You know there's going to be bass offshore on the ledges. So I pretty much spent 90%, 95% of my practice sitting there behind the seat, sitting at the console, idling, looking for schools of fish. And I was able to locate a few of those after practice, but I didn't really find what I needed to find. So really, you know, practice is where I went wrong in this event, as I just did not find those fish I needed to during the practice period. But I found a few groups of fish. I felt fairly optimistic about one or two of those. And it turns out they actually left me by the first day of the tournament. So they were no longer there. And I was kind of left to just scramble and pick and claw my way around. I was able to catch a few fish each day. I had somewhere right around 20 pounds each day, 20, 22, 23 pounds each day. And, you know, that finished me up in 38th place. So not what I wanted for sure, but could have been a lot worse, you know, looking at the grand scheme of things. So let's dive into the tackle real quick. So for me, I would say the majority of the fish I caught this week was on the Carolina rig. And after watching the live coverage over the last couple days of the event, it seemed like the Carolina rig was pretty popular this tournament and made a very big comeback with putting various different baits on it. So this is what got the job done for me. This is what caught the majority of the fish that I weighed, was just your standard Carolina rig setup. We'll start down here. This is just a brush hog. This is a Trocar TK105, the Pro V worm hook in the 4/0 size. I got 15-pound Seaguar Tatsu fluorocarbon as my leader. Then we get up here, we got a swivel, we got a bead, and then we got this little guy right here. So this is a weight that I've been playing with a little bit. I think it's called the bean, but it just kind of drags along those real thick shell beds, a little bit different than your standard barrel style weights. And, you know, I kind of wanted this to kind of keep the line off of those shells that are pretty sharp and maybe cutting up your line. So from there, we got 20-pound Seaguar Tatsu main line that comes all the way down the rod into the reel. And this rod is actually, this was the first time I ever threw this rod. This was something I just got for Carolina rigging this summer. This is a Phoenix rod, Phoenix M1. It's a 7'8" heavy. And that's the Carolina rig rod that Mark Davis uses. So I think it's a pretty dang good Carolina rig rod. And I was really impressed with it, using it for the first time this week. So really, really excited about using that rod for my Carolina rigging needs. Now, that was it. That was the Carolina rig setup. The other bait that caught me a few fish was a football jig. We threw that guy right there. That's a homemade football jig that I made myself a few years ago. And then as a trailer, I got a Yamamoto double tail grub. It's an excellent little football jig trailer for when you're kind of hopping it. You know, the work the football jig, I was almost hopping it. I wasn't really dragging it. It was just kind of a popping that football jig. So he hops up off the bottom and kind of swims back down, and was able to catch a couple fish on him throughout the week. But that was something that stayed locked and ready on the deck. If I fished a place for a while, you know, I'd show them multiple different baits. And the football jig was my second choice after the Carolina rig. So the key to this whole setup, it's a 7'6" heavy rod. I was throwing it on 17-pound Seaguar Tatsu fluorocarbon on there. And that's pretty much the setup there. A fast gear ratio reel on both of those. That's a Shimano Metanium 8.1 on both of those. Now, really, there was only another couple baits that I weighed some fish on this week. Of course, we had to have a spinning rod, and just threw around a Ned rig. So after I threw the bigger, bulkier baits, I'd throw a little finesse bait at them. And this was just a Ned rig. You know, it's hard to call this a finesse bait when it's got such a big head on it. This is actually a 3/8 of an ounce football head with a big TRD. I like to glue him up on there. And then 10-pound Seaguar Tatsu leader to the Seaguar PEX8 braided line on my spinning rod. And you know, this stuff casts amazing. It's funny, I was actually fishing one of those schools next to another angler, and he was amazed at how far I could cast this rig. He was like, dude, what are you throwing? What kind of line is that? You're casting like 30 feet further than I am. And it was all due to this Seaguar PEX8 braid. I think I may have made him a customer now. It's pretty, he doesn't work with Seaguar, but I bet he's picking up some of that line after seeing it right next to you know, we were side by side fishing the same school. And I was casting substantially further than he could, all because of that line. And then that's on a 7'3" medium, moderate, fast spinning rod, should I say. And that was the Finesse setup. Now, obviously, I caught a few fish on a jig head minnow as well. Did not catch any on a crankbait in the tournament. I threw the crankbait a little bit in practice, caught me a few on that, but during the tournament, it did not catch me any fish, which really was a surprise to me. I expected to catch them cranking, but like I said, the main school that I was banking on kind of left me, and we were left scrambling, fishing for scraps, places that people had already fished. So we kind of had to slow down and finesse fish and not really power fish with the crankbait. So that's it, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this juice video. Make sure to leave the likes and comments and good stuff down below. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and we'll see you guys next time.